Podcast Network Asia.
You are listening to First Metro Securities Philippine Stock Market Weekly podcast, where we feature timely and relevant discussions on the Philippine stock market and the economy in the hope of providing you investing and trading guidance. Here's your host.
How's it going, investors? Hi, I'm Anjz, an equity research associate from First Metro Securities. In this episode of Market Bites, let me share with you our latest company update on SM Prime Holdings Inc. or SMPH. We are maintaining our buy call on SMPH with target price trimmed to 32 pesos. We raised our earnings forecasts by 7% and 8% on FY24F and FY25F to reflect improving mall segment performance. However, we lower our target valuations as we impute a larger discount owing to the current structural weakness in the Philippine residential and office sectors. The stock has underperformed in the last 2 quarters, dragged by the aforementioned structural weaknesses. We are of the view that the sell-off is overdone and unwarranted. At current levels, SMPH's bread and butter business, i.e. mall segment, which accounted for 65% of 9M24 net earnings, is unduly discounted. Reasons are: first, value has emerged. We estimate that segment's valuation to range at 734 billion pesos to 1,016 billion pesos, higher than SMPH's current market capitalization of 676 billion pesos. Second, mall segment is strengthening. Based on our channel checks, foot traffic at SM malls were robust in 4Q24. In addition, cinema ticket sales for 4Q should rise quarter on quarter, driven by the Metro Manila Film Festival, a traditional foot traffic driver during the holiday season. These should translate to higher rental revenues during the period. And third, we see this trend will continue in the next 12 to 24 months. We expect low double-digit revenue growth for the segment in the next 2 years. The reasons being, household spending is expected to pick up in view of disinflation. Gains from mall renovations and improved tenant mix will become more pronounced. And the recovery in cinema ticket sales could further strengthen. Meanwhile, investor concerns are valid, such as residential oversupply, double-digit office vacancy rates, and high cost of reclamation, which are already in our forecasts. Hence, any improvements would lead to upside. For residential, these would be faster than expected unwinding of excess inventory, pick up in provincial launches, and pivot to high-end market. For offices, the return of organic demand would support rents. For the reclamation project, we have valued this at cost, and upside will come from higher land valuations. Where we could be wrong? First, weakness in residential segment in low to mid offerings exacerbates and leads to decline in property prices. Second, demand destruction resulting in weaker than expected consumer spending affecting malls. And third, the fallout from POGO exodus. Greater adoption of hybrid work setups, and artificial intelligence resulting to prolonged period of higher office vacancies and rental pressures. Again, that's a buy call for SMPH at 32 pesos target price. And that's it for this episode of Market Bites. Hope this has been helpful.
Thanks for listening to First Metro Securities Philippine Stock Market Weekly podcast. Don't forget to follow us to get first dibs on our new episodes. For more up-to-date market news and info, exclusive content, and the opportunity to connect with your fellow Filipino investors and traders, join facebook.com/groups/FirstMetroSec and be part of the First MetroSec family.
FirstMetroSec is providing this podcast as a general market commentary. Reference to any specific security, product, or entity do not constitute as an offer or a solicitation of an offer to buy or sell any financial instruments or to participate in any particular trading strategy. The statements, comments, views, or opinions expressed by the hosts are subject to change without notice, and FirstMetroSec is under no obligation to update, amend, change, or correct any of the statements, comments, views, or opinions expressed. The statements, comments, views, and opinions expressed by the guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the view of FirstMetroSec. FirstMetroSec disclaims any liability arising from reliance on or reference to any information obtained in this podcast.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia, the hosts of the program, or other programs of the network. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.